You know what I'm saying? I
Brother
did go like,
Shaka,
oh, yeah.
let me say this before I go. You are
Yeah.
one of the most dangerous brothers in our community. Why? Because he has been listening for a long time. And when you say something, he's going to say, wait, but you said this on this day. Here's the video.
And he's going to have the
He is one of the
documentation.
most dangerous brothers in our community. And so I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that Soneta's audience now knows about you. He was talking to me about Shaka, 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 Shaka. I thought he was talking about Shaka almost for a second. Because Soneta love him some Shaka Ma'at forever. So I'm just honored that now we have a more global. I know Rob Moore was kind of making a joke, but he was also making a comment. The reality is that this internet is going to allow Africans all over the world to connect on our interest, and that is powerful. That is powerful.
Yes.
I'm honored to be on. I promise I will communicate with you. I'm watching your shows ardently, Shaka. So whenever you would like me to come and chat with you privately or publicly, please let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hotep Senuhena Senut Iti Ren Isha Kandugukemet. I hope you're doing well. The title of this live stream is Inferiority Complex of Sekou, Kelleh, and Pan-Africans who view Westerners as superiors. I'm going to check the sound quality. Give me one moment. Sounds okay on my end. So let me get the fair use disclaimer out of the way. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. And you also have the link to the video that I am the most proud of. It has 404,000 views now. It is entitled Kemet and Ma'at now, but the full title is really Introduction to Kemet. It's less than an hour long, so if you have time, feel free if you want to. Now, I want to say, first of all, this is not a beef between me and Sekou. I don't hate him. As a matter of fact, a lot of time he says some very interesting things. The problem is his hypocrisy. I don't like hypocrisy, and I don't like people who don't stand on their own principles. People who don't follow their own standards. And what you will see, I'm about to share the link, is that in less than 2 minutes, I will demonstrate that Sekou does not follow his own standards. He does not follow his own principles. I'm going to share the link and I'm going to play it. We're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. A year ago, I made a video when he faced xenophobia. And the video is entitled Sekou Kelleh Has My Support. Guess who came through? And let's hear what the horses, let's hear it from the horse's mouth, okay? I'm sorry, V. Bennett. We have our brother Sekou Kelleh in the place to be.
I digress.
Thank you for joining us, Sekou. Feel free to speak, brother.
Yes, peace and blessings, Shaka. And peace to my other brother. Yeah, thank you so much, bro. I've been seeing the videos, your support. You know, it's very, very embarrassing what's happening. And anybody who is looking in, looking at the conscious community from outside, they will begin to have very, very bad impression. They will think this is a group of confused people, jobless people coming together. Because what's the purpose of these meetings and this debate? If it is to improve knowledge, then we have people who are having large audience. They are not imparting knowledge. They are imparting hate, xenophobia. They are distracting the process of people receiving knowledge. They are trying to disrupt the entire conscious community. And a person like Reggie, I will tell you this, brother. When consciousness escapes you, it doesn't say goodbye. That's what Julius Malema said. When consciousness escapes you, it never says goodbye. Just because someone has spent 30 years in the struggle doesn't mean they don't get out of their mind. When you listen to Reggie, you know that consciousness has escaped the brother. And you should feel that it's time to tell him go and rest. Because
like I told you, less than 2 minutes. And he already killed himself. Figuratively speaking, of course. Now, here, you had a video entitled Anti-African Reggie and Others. Let's listen to what Reggie told him so you can understand why he said what you just heard, why he reacted this way, why I supported him, why other people supported him. You heard about the dancehall or reggae legend Mr. Vegas? Well, Mr. Vegas even came through on that same live stream to show him support and other people to show him support, right? But ask him who he is butt kissing now. That same dude that he spoke again that was supposed to go on rest. Make that make sense. Oh, the sound is not on.
because I
So, earlier I was asking you, I think you had some connection problem. I was told you said to Sekou, you told Sekou
I told him
to
go back
to Africa.
Yeah, that's what I said. And I'm gonna say it again. Take your ass back to Africa.
But why would you say something like that?
Because now, Smash say, you know you can't say that. The truth is, Sekou is directly from Africa. So if a nigga say, nigga, go back to Baltimore, it's really not disrespectful.
Okay, so Sekou, let me curse you out respectfully.
Yeah, cut me out, Reggie. I'm listening to the hypocrisy because I am wondering where
I'm
you're
gonna curse you out. I'm gonna curse
Yeah,
you
cut
out.
me out. I'm listening.
Okay. You have no standing. You have in our communities. You're an outsider. You have no standing. You're an outsider. Now, what you are doing is you are a new.
What is your community that I don't have no standing in?
African American.
Oh, Red. Garfield is not an African American. Garfield
is an African American. Garfield is an African American.
Sanetta is a Dominican.
They African Americans.
We African Americans.
What is wrong with you?
Let me finish. I want to curse him out politely.
No, because you are wrong.
You have no standing in our community.
Garfield an African American?
You're not
Garfield African American?
American struggle.
Is Sanetta African American?
Yes. You're not part of the African struggle in the Americas. Now,
no, you want to bring discrimination. I'm very, it's embarrassing that you being an
Come on, man. You gonna interrupt, man? Come on, man. Now it's gonna look like this is why every time I put him in the chat or Shaka and Dugu, because they always talk and don't want people to respond. I don't know how they do that.
But I said I have the floor. I have the floor.
Go ahead.
Now I don't know how long you've been studying Shekan Diop. I don't even know if you've heard his voice personally. I don't know if you've ever met Theophilo Benga. Talk to Theophilo Benga. Now, if my community has some questions and I'm a part of that community, I can answer it. Now, there are people who it takes them some time to gather some information. So if Sheffrin wants to say what he has to say, well, we can continue the dialogue with Sheffrin. But don't you ever criticize me for not responding like I'm a crazy convert every time somebody says something about Shekan Diop or any of these people, right? You know why? Because I have a proven 33 years in this, right? And you have, I don't know what your standing is. I don't know what university you went with. I don't even know who your elders are. I don't even know how long, you've told me recently how long you were a Muslim and how long you're not, but that doesn't mean that you haven't studied the culture. Well, I'm going to ask you now, how long have you studied Nile Valley culture? How long?
Reggie, I think you are leading the conversation somewhere else. What you started with no, this is not about me. The discussion was about no standing.
I'm going to put
you
it on you because I want to know your standing.
You say I have no standing to talk about African American community.
No,
I want to understand what you mean by
information. No, you have no standing. You go and talk to your people. I talk to my people, right? You don't talk to my
people. Your people? Is Garfield African American?
Why you keep calling my name, man? Garfield.
No, because I'm speaking. This is Garfield.
Garfield is Heathcliff's cousin, man.
Garfield is the African in the Americans. It don't matter where the goddamn slave shit.
Man, what are you talking about?
I could have been
what are you talking about? Reggie, this is embarrassing. Don't do this, Reggie.
You're talking to our experience.
It must not be.
May I be heard? Cool. You're nobody. You're zero. You got no standing except for YouTube. What scholar knows you? What scholar do you talk to? What university you went to? You got no standing. Stand down. And I ask you, how long you been studying this? Have you been to Egypt? Do you know the Meta Nature?
Oh, man.
So, you heard Sekou Kelleh telling Reggie it's embarrassing. Did Reggie apologize? Did Reggie state for the record that he was wrong? If he didn't, it means he has the same stance. Sekou is still butt kissing Reggie till this day. Reggie told him, you talk to your people, I talk to my people. He told him, you are nobody. You are nobody. Let's continue. Little donation.
Okay, brother.
Okay, well, keep going, Sekou. Keep going. And brothers and
Yeah.
sisters, if you want to speak to Sekou, then feel free. I'm going to share the link again. But keep doing your thing. You're welcome here, Sekou. I don't agree with what they're saying. He's getting out of hand. It's just getting ridiculous. It's a shame.
It's getting out of hand, Shaka.
Yeah,
They are being
yeah.
xenophobic.
It's getting out of hand. They are being xenophobic. But Sekou is butt kissing Reggie, and that platform where Reggie has been for years. And there's other people who are being xenophobic, who have been xenophobic also. Right? He said himself, he agreed it's getting out of hands. I don't know if Sekou is listening now. I don't know if he will listen later on. But in case he does, in case you do, you have betrayed your own cause. I'm not calling you a traitor, but you betrayed your own cause. That was your cause then, but now that they gave you a pat on your head, you are cool with them.
As a people, I hate Africans because of what they did to my people.
He hates Africans. He's also on tape saying that he celebrates the death of Africans. When Africans die, he celebrates. You betrayed your own cause. You just deal with people according to their own standards. Let's continue. Yeah, yes, they are being xenophobic. They are xenophobes now.
They tell me, don't talk about African Americans. Reggie, you spend your time teaching the Medu nature. In fact, there is a video where he's talking about the Black City. Then he presented Mansa Musa, how Mansa Musa was raised and all that. Well, Mansa Musa is from the Mali Empire. My ancestors. I am a Madinga from the Mande Empire. Reggie, you and I are the same. That's why I've been trying to tell you we are not different. I respect the struggle of the African diaspora, and we bow our head to them for being one of the greatest champions of liberation on the planet. We give them that respect. But we are telling you, and when we speak of African diaspora, it's not African Americans alone. We are speaking to Haiti. He thinks we are just talking about African Americans. The African diaspora is bigger than African Americans.
There's a few other timestamps. Here's Mr. Vegas, dancehall legend. Mr. Vegas is here. We also Shango Heru. Mr. Vegas, if there's any chance to use a webcam, it would be nice, but feel free to speak, brother.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, and you. Hotep to you, brother. Feel free to speak, brother, Mr. Vegas.
Brother Sekou.
Peace and blessing, brother.
Yo, you're the man. Trust me. You're doing so well and speaking so much positive energy into the Africans who are stuck in their old ways, like Reggie and Ankh and all those people. But I'm loving how you're standing on your own, bro, and speaking truth to power. That is what is important, bro.
You see, Mr. Vegas, dancehall legend, you heard him. He named Reggie. He named Ankh, the one known as Brother Ankh or Bobby Killer. Now you heard earlier, he said that he told Sekou, take your AWS back to Africa. He stood on that, right? And because I disagreed, right, publicly about that, it wasn't something said towards me. It wasn't something said against me. It was against somebody else. But I could not agree with that, right? Because of that, that Bobby Banger, who is now being nicknamed Bobby Booger by his former homie, Smash Rockwell, he went against me. Because I did not agree when Reggie was xenophobic towards him. And I supported him. Reggie went against me. Now guess what? That Sekou Kelleh, he's down with them now. Make that make sense. Now, haven't they been xenophobic towards me? Let me show you Reggie. Found it. Reggie told me, keep Black America out of your mouth. You stand for people, not because he wasn't my homie. Sekou Kelleh wasn't my homie. I wasn't in business with him. You know what I'm saying? You stand on truth and principles, right? So I and several people, we stood by him. But because he got a pat on the head, now he's cool with them. And you're going to see how far he goes. Because it goes further than xenophobia. You will notice how quiet he is when it comes to rape and child molestation. He is conveniently quiet towards that. So here you have the video in your own time. Reggie telling me, keep Black America out of your mouth. If that ain't xenophobia, what is it? Oh, for the record, that being said, you've heard how many times people labeled me Frenchy? But it's all good.
I just want to ask you how you feel personally when they attack you in the xenophobic way.
Well, when they attack me in a xenophobic way, to be frank with you, it doesn't hurt me because I understand that majority of Black people on the planet has been miseducated. I'm only surprised because I thought they were conscious brothers. That's the only part that gets me. How can I read John Henry Clark? How can I read?
So you heard him say, that's him speaking. That's your words, Sekou. You're surprised because you thought they were conscious brothers. You are down with those people that you thought were conscious. So they are not conscious. They are unconscious and you are giving them support. You are participating on their platform. Not only they have xenophobia, people who hate Africans, they have rapists, they have child molesters, and they even have pseudo people who disrespect PhDs, right? African PhDs like Dr. Shekonta Diop, like Dr. Theophilo Benga, right? Like Dr. Obadele Kambon. But your inferiority complex makes you butt kiss them because they are Westerners. But what else is he gonna say?
All these great scholars and come back and talk like Reggie. It's a disaster. That's the only.
It's a disaster. You said it's a disaster. Sekou, you forgot? Andrew Burnett is in the place to be. Let's go back.
Only surprised because I thought they were conscious brothers. That's the only part that gets me. How can I read John Henry Clark? How can I read all these great scholars and come back and talk like Reggie? It's a disaster.
It's a disaster. You are on that disaster platform. You are with those people, Sekou. You betrayed your own cause. Humble student wrote, Westerners are superior though. Okay, that person's gonna go on on holiday. Where's the chat? They have changed. YouTube have changed the display. Okay, show chat. Okay, the person's gonna go. Okay. Boom. Page on. Block him on from my other channel as well. And he put, don't get mad. I don't know what bro needs mean. Maybe he typed quickly and he meant to type bro. It's just my opinion. I'm not mad. I don't have time for that. Westerners are superior. I don't have time for that. You know, I mean, you can go with Reggie and Sekou. Sekou's gonna love it. You know, maybe. But anyway, let me block that person here. How it is with anonymous and unidentified people. Okay, let's continue. Another timestamp. Feel free to come back now, brother. African Renaissance. Feel free to speak, brother.
Peace, 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 and peace, brother Sekou. Man, I just wanted to say peace, really, man, and underline the fact that make no mistake, you know, when you're having these conversations, I think the brother is coming back. But basically, when you're having these conversations, man, it's obvious that people are making straw man arguments just to be able to argue, just for the sake of argument, you know. And I feel like it's disingenuous. You know, we're starting to see it a little bit too much, and it is ringing to the tune of xenophobia. You know,
xenophobia. Now that person speaking, he is a, you know, should I say a groupie of somebody that I would address, you know, that had no problem talking sideways about Dr. Diab, Dr. Obenga, Dr. Obade, Dr. Cambone, and so many other people. But he stated indeed there was xenophobia. So you can see it wasn't only me, right? And that person right there, he said it. He's from Senegal and he's from DC, right? Mr. Vegas, we all know he's from Jamaica, right? We have Imhotep 360 degrees, who was also from Jamaica. That person on the top right as well, who came and gave support to Sekou, he's from St. Lucia. So you have people from many different places, you know, who wouldn't stand for that, right? Now, next timestamp.
It doesn't matter if Reggie insults me and calls me whatever name, Daddy African. I don't care. I still love African American. I still love the diaspora because my consciousness is elevated to a point that I can read between the lines. I know the unconscious and I know the conscious one. So I'm not confused. I'm not taking it personal. I only see his limitation. I don't think he represents the best of the African American consciousness. I don't think he represents the best of what Malcolm X had to say. He represents the perversion of the culture.
The perversion of the culture. That's Sekou Kelleh talking about Reggie, right? Saying that he represents the perversion of the culture. But yet when he's live, you and hear butt kissing him. You and hear bootlicking him. You participate on the platform where he's at. And other people said even worse, and you butt kissing them. The guy who said he hates Africans that I played earlier, you are on tape butt kissing him. Perversion of the culture. You said it. But what else is he gonna say? Gonna hear it. He's gonna say worse than perversion.
You know, this division or separation or contention that would exist between
That's a brother, the fight doctor, you know. He's from America. You have people from all over who couldn't stand for that. Now, for the most part, they did not betray their stance. They did not betray their cause.
Africans and on the continent between themselves, Africans in the diaspora between themselves, and then Africans in the or contention between Africans on the continent and in the diaspora. All of that is silly and needs to go away. It's just a divide and conquer tactic.
Divide and conquer tactic.
And you know, we need to understand exactly what's going on. You know, so this
Sekou shaking his head in agreement. Divide and conquer.
This conversation and this, you know, these thought processes that would alienate Africans between each other, or alienate Africans from African Americans. I mean, it's just stupid. It's dumb. Okay, because listen,
it's
like
part of the programming.
It's part of the programming. See, the brother is called African Renaissance TV. He said he's from Senegal. He speaks a little bit of Wolof, and he's also from DC. Right? Now, listen to what Sekou said. You heard him talk about perversion of the culture is going to be way worse now. But some people may say he's a turncoat. He is free to do whatever he wants. But if you are a hypocrite, it is what it is.
American fool you and say, Black America, can't you see you are richer, you are good rappers, you are in the government, you are better than Africans. You are better than Jamaicans. You are better than Haitians. They are fooling you. Your condition and your social location is the same. Let you, Black American, and I, we get in the plane and we fly to China. Wherever they put Sekou, that's where they are going to put Ankh. That's where they are going to put Reg. Whatever bullet kills Sekou is the same bullet that's going to kill Reggie, is going to kill Ankh. Get that into your score.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I have the wrong timestamp, but it ends at 2:10:58, so I'm going to go a little bit before.
Of the future United States of Africa. He said, what do you mean? I said, yes, he's the first president of the future.
Okay,
in a school. That was my.
I remember that part. Okay, it's about here.
Painting job in a school. When I first arrived in Canada, I got a job in a school. Actually, to go. I went to do some work there, a painting job, because I'm a painter. I went to do some painting job in a school. That was my first job here. So when I went, there was a lady there who was a teacher. Two African lady. I saw them. They were Black people, so I assumed they were African. So they didn't talk to me really. They kept passing. They have position in that school. So I said hi to them. They kind of just say hi casually to me, and it was all right. It was a white majority space. So one day I came to work with my book in the car, The Opinions of Marcus Garvey, and then I went for it because there was no work going on. So I just went to the car and picked it up. I came to sit down to read. So the other Black woman saw the book and she rushed quickly to me. She said, I'm from Jamaica. I said, oh, really? She said, oh, you are reading this book. Say, how did you know about this book? So I'm like, Marcus Garvey is the first president of the future United States of Africa. He said, what do you mean? I said, yes, he's the first president of the future United States of Africa. He said, you are my brother. And the other black woman comes from Ethiopia and she has no clue what we are talking about. She's from Africa and I'm from Africa and she don't have no clue what I'm discussing with a lady all the way from Jamaica. What am I?
Young heroes in the place to be. What's up? I'm dealing with the hypocrisy of Sekou. And once again, it's not beef. I don't feel like I have a beef with Sekou. He's not the only one. There's many Pan-Africans who are just like him. You know, they just want a butt kiss, boot lick. If they get a pat on the head, they are happy. But some people have an inferiority complex when it comes to Westerners. And that's Sekou is a prime example of that. Let's hear to what Sekou says about people like Reggie. What he said about people like Reggie. Then let's hear it.
I'm trying to tell you, it is the consciousness that connects us. It is the information that will make us to have solidarity with each other. It's not just the mere skin color. It's not the mere geography. That's why the information must be protected. That's why the consciousness of the elders, the foundation they have laid, we should not allow some straw men to come and destroy it, because it is that consciousness that makes us to become allies.
We should not allow. Listen to the rest.
If you remove that consciousness, we will see each other right now as enemies and not as allies.
We will see you as enemies and not as allies. And then what does he say?
That's why you don't joke with the information.
That's why you don't joke with the information. But that's what you're doing, Sekou. Because you are cool with that platform that defends rapists, child molesters, scammers, liars, people who have fake credentials, right? People who disrespect our scholars, who disrespect African PhDs, right? You have no problem with that. People who disrespect family members, people who speak sexually about children live on air. Homie, please.
That's why when I see a Jamaican, I see myself because of the information that I have. And the same information need to spread. And those who are stopping it, we must see them as enemies. And we must treat them as such.
We must see them as enemies and we must treat them as such. But he's butt kissing them. Now, Sekou, you're probably going to say that's irrelevant. Butt kissing Sekou.
One day I see him, he got his daughter, 3 or 4 years old, sitting on his lap with her legs spread open on the internet. And you talking about pedophilia, the HOK pedophilia. That's when I saw that. I said, yeah, nigga, you need to take your daughter off your lap, nigga. Why is she sitting like that, spread eagle like that on your lap? So I knew that shit would hurt him. And it did, goddammit. That was a home run hit.
Sekou is not the only one. Pan-Africans, for the most part, are just like Sekou. They will name scholars. They will name Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Joseph Ben Yakanan. They will name Dr. Diop. They will name so many scholars, so many elders. They will name so many events that happen to black people, that happen to Africans, that happen to Caribbeans. They will talk about Haiti. They will talk about 1804. But the people who defend rapists and child molesters, and even the rapists and child molesters themselves are okay when it comes to Pan-African. Pan-Africans have no problem with them. Ask Sekou. Ask Dr. Jahi Issa. Ask Professor Small. Professor Small knows that Sanetta spoke sexually about my child. He didn't say anything. Anybody can decide to have that title of Pan-African to look good. And he can steal, he can scam, he can rape, he can molest children. He will be part of the crew. He will be part of the team. It's nothing new. Now, one more timestamp, and then we're going to deal with a communication between Sekou and myself.
Is not angry at them and doesn't feel alienated of the strong. But just look at it. Look at Garfield. Garfield is like my brother. He come from Jamaica. But look how Garfield just trying. Look at Garfield, giant legs. Yeah, and it happened to.
You see, Mr. Vegas is from Jamaica. Garfield is from Jamaica. Mr. Vegas, he wasn't on no set tripping tribalism. Oh, we're from the same country, so I ain't gonna say nothing. Now, back then, Sekou was speaking against the xenophobia. People is in the place to be Hotep, right? He was speaking against the xenophobia. When he was against him, when he was against me, I didn't hear him, right? The same people who were xenophobic towards him, they gave him a pat on the head, and now he's cool with them. Make that make sense. But Mr. Vegas had no problem mentioning Garfield, even though they come from the same country. Because wrong is wrong.
The Pharaoh, young Pharaoh, he got into problems because of his earlier rhetorics.
Yeah, young Pharaoh was a problem, man.
He was a problem.
Look at this guy here. You see the comment? That's a Daniel Heru dude, who's part of Shroud of Ma'at. This guy also don't care about Sanella speaking sexually about a 3/4-year-old girl live on air. He also defended a guy who was convicted for rape publicly. Now, I don't know if he's a Pan-African, but he's a member of the Shrine of Isefet that you know as the Shrine of Ma'at, headed by Jabari Osase. But here he wrote, Sekou, we got your back, brother, when they were being xenophobic towards him. Now, when those people were being xenophobic towards me, I didn't hear that dude. If you have a stance, if you have a cause, right, you shouldn't make an exception just because you appreciate the dude, you had a drink or you had a meal and it was good and you share some jokes, and then you're going to bypass all the people who stand on the same path as you for whatever reason. And it looks like the pat on the head was enough for Sekou to turn his back on his own cause, to betray his own cause. Make that make sense. Rape, child molestation, scamming, false flagging, xenophobia, hate towards Africans, all of that gets a pass in Sekou's eyes, and many other Pan-Africans who like to have a tap on the head, a pat on the head.
And look what happened to him. Like, it's night and day now with young Pharaoh. Yes, but it's still my brother and I love him, you see what I'm saying? Because
Good Felanella wrote, that's that tribalism, Shaka. Just because Kool Herc is Jamaican, they want to exclude him. It's getting crazy. You know there's a documentary that's going to be released soon. Tariq Nasheed. A lot of xenophobia coming from him. What's her name? Does she go by she has Ma'at in her name. Is it Omaya Ma'at? Well, you know what? I'm gonna show you. The stuff came up on my feed. See that? Tariq Nasheed's upcoming live stream. Rally for Reparations / Juneteenth celebration coming this June 15th, 2024. You see the lady at the bottom? Does she go by Dr. Ma'at? Forgot her full name. But never mind. So let's finish with that last timestamp, that video.
He was one of my first teachers. Yeah? But just notice what's going on. Look at the people that were speaking a certain language. And look how they transitioned now to talking about Walter Williams is going to die and no one is going to remember his work. And attacking Dr. Ben, attacking Diop, attacking
Diop. Well, we're going to see what was said about Diop. Just wanted you to hear that for the record. So, I took the screenshots because sometimes people edit their messages. See the video entitled Public Divorce of Sanetta and the Pashada a couple of days ago. Sekou left that comment. He wrote, "Bro, when are you going to do a book review on Asar Imhotep's book, Race and Identity in Ancient Egypt, Volume 1? Now, some people may feel like, well, it's as if I'm supposed to. But I responded to his question. Here's a response. I even put it in my community timeline on YouTube. And I had the screen capture of his question. This is what I wrote. Sekou Kelleh, you are demonstrating why Pan-Africans are ridiculous even with formal education. You claim to study at the university in Canada. Yet, yet you are butt-kissing a pseudo-plagiarizer who pretends to be a linguist and a historian without any credentials in those fields. Imhotep said that Allah is an Egyptian text. Allah is an indigenous African god. Hebrew is cognate with Yoruba. I wrote in Yoruba, but I meant to type with Yoruba. He even claimed to have studied linguistics formally years ago. Recently, he claimed that the I6 glyph Kem is a title. You are just the type of African who butt-kiss nearly everything coming out of the Western world. Tazariak said he hates Africans publicly and you butt-kissing him. Sanetta promotes anti-Africans and you butt-kiss him. Reggie told you have no standing in our community. You talk to your people, I talk to my people. You're an outsider, you're nobody, and you butt-kiss him. Yet you have the nerves to criticize Africans who behead chickens. He did that live on air on my panel. It's a live stream actually when I was dealing with Kwanzaa. Donnie Williams in the place to be. He's also butt kissing Kwanzaa, which is a plagiarism of the Jewish holiday Hanukkah. But anything coming from the West, Sekou Kelleh will butt kiss it with great joy. Nearly everything that's fake and pseudo, if it comes from the West, he's gonna butt kiss it. Love my frozen a place to be. Sekou Kelleh complained about some Africans who beheaded a chicken. But the rapists, the child molesters, the scammers, the false flaggers, the people who disrespect Diop, Dr. Diop, Dr. Obenga, right? He has no problem with that. Let's continue. But you have no problem with people who defend child molesters and send them money. You are even butt kissing one of the most pseudo Pan-African called Jean-Charles Couvi-Gomez, who showed a Nubian drawing of a black prophet Muhammad and claimed it's a portrait made from descriptions of his companion. Then he said he has portraits of Muhammad when he was younger. Now, you do have the link. It's in French. You don't understand French, you can ask French speakers. What I said, you hear it in the video. That's the level of Pan-Africanism so-called history that I call science fiction. Love Mafra wrote, "Miss y'all, my work hours are all over the place." So you have the link here about that so-called professor, so-called Pan-African professor. Sekou is butt kissing him too, you know. He's in the West as well, so you know. Now, let's finish with this. If you want to read a book review, here's a PhD in linguistics who did an editorial book critique. I shared that yesterday. That's Dr. Obadele Campbell, who critiqued the book called The Origin of the Word Amen. But since he lives in Africa and he criticizes people living in the West, you may not like it being the professional butt kisser of people who reject you because you are African and it doesn't bother you. I'm going to share the editorial book critique of Dr. Obadele Campbell. Have it in the chat. Besides, Osar Imhotep was disrespectful towards this PhD in linguistics, Dr. Obadele Campbell, just like he disrespected Dr. Diop by saying he was, now I did type irresponsible as a scholar. The exact quote is indigenous, sorry. Disingenuous, I'm sorry, disingenuous as a scientist. Okay, so I'm just taking it for the record. I made a mistake with that quote. Now you don't know shame nor embarrassment. You are a sad guy, butt kissing pseudos and liars. Then we're gonna see his response. He wrote, "I take exception to your assertion that I am ingratiating myself for favor. Your perception of people seems to reflect more about you than it does about others." He just basically typed, not saying anything, you know, because he knows he's a butt kisser, you know. "Firstly, I never claimed to have attended a University of Canada." I did not type of Canada, I typed in Canada, but it's okay. He wants to be nitpicky, he has a right to. "I have an Ontario College Diploma in Social Service Work from Conestoga College and other certificates. However, I appreciate your assumption as I do hope to pursue a degree program in the near future. Now, I don't mind. It's okay if I made a mistake. If it wasn't a university and it was a college, then fine. Thank you for the correction. Just for the record, since you want to be nitpicky, you have the link in the chat. This is college on Wikipedia, the people's favorite. And here it says, in the United States, a college may offer undergraduate programs either as an independent institution or as the undergraduate program of a university. Or it may be a residential college of a university or a community college, referring to primarily public higher education institutions that aim to provide affordable and accessible education, usually limited to 2-year associate degrees. The word is generally also used as a synonym for a university in the US. On Britannica, the entry for college, because the rape, the child molestation, the scamming, the anti-African hate, that it doesn't matter. He wants to be picky about the college. Okay, no problem. Most colleges in English-speaking Canada are affiliated with universities. The 4-year college may be an independent, privately controlled liberal arts college, or it may be the undergraduate division of a private or state university. A university division that offers a graduate or professional degree is usually either credited as, a college or a school or graduate school. And finally, Cornell University in Ithaca, NY opened in 1868 and was the first American university to be divided into colleges, offering different degrees. Let's go back to his answer. It appears you have a narrow view of Pan-Africanism, which is fine. I am a proud Afrocentric Pan-Africanist focused on global African solidarity and integration. You are on that platform that promotes anti-Africans, that promote xenophobia, that promotes rapists, child molesters, and you are proud of that. That's a narrow view, homie, but it's all good. Like I said, I have no beef with him. He's not the only one. There's many people who are just like him. Then he added, my comment about the book review was intended as an academic discussion. Academic discussion with pseudos, with plagiarists? Plagiarism is not academia, Sekou. But you turned it into a personal attack. What personal attack, sucker? What personal attack? When you heard those people insulting my mother, insulting my father, insulting my family, Did you complain about personal attack? When those women, when those children get raped, those are not personal attacks. They get paid, they are invited, they get donations, they are promoted, they are supported. You have no problem with that. Am I lying, Sekou? Do you have a problem with the rapists and the child molesters on that platform where you are participating? No, you don't have a problem, and you're not the only one. Let's keep it real. Pan-Africans have no problem with rapists and child molesters. It's nothing new. That Gomez professor too had that dude who went to prison for rape as well. It was by his side several times. When he was attacked or criticized by another Pan-African for his past as a rapist, right? That same Professor Gomez that you butt kissing, right? He went public and called for peace. Then he wrote, I wonder why you're so touchy, brother. Homie, when Reggie was xenophobic towards you, you said that people like that should be considered enemies and treated as such. Did I say that you are an enemy? So Reggie, you were not touchy with Reggie? If your family member gets raped and you complain about it, how will you feel if people say, oh, you are being touchy? Let's move to the rest of his answer. Whether a Tsar is a pseudo-linguist or not is irrelevant. Now, if that ain't butt kissing, then what is it? If that is not butt kissing, then what is it? Whether a Tsar is a pseudo-linguist or not is irrelevant. So he can be a pseudo-linguist, but you will butt kiss him because he's from the West. Sekou, you are ridiculous. You are really ridiculous. In science, evidence matters more than credentials. What evidence? What evidence? Allah is in the Egyptian text? Sekou, why are you such a clown? In science, evidence matters more than credentials. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna finish with this. For the record, I had several back and forth discussions with Asar yesterday because I disagree with him on certain issues. That's just who I am. I can't disagree without resorting to personal. No, you're a butt kisser. Sanetta defends and promotes rapists and child molesters. He's on tape defending the serial rapist Malachi York. He's on tape calling Michael Nowak Jr., Brother Polite, powerful, and he went to prison for sexually abusing an underage girl. You will not disagree with him. Be my guest. Go on his panel and disagree with him. You are a butt kisser, Sekou, but you're not the only one. There's many others who are like you. Anyway, so I can disagree without resorting to personal attacks or name calling. What name calling? Now, name calling personally, so as I'm concerned, is profanity, right? But you may have some other definition because rape and child molestation is not a problem to you. So, you know, but name calling, oh my goodness, it's so horrible, right? So those little girls who got raped, you know, that gets a pass. It's okay. You know, I guess you're going to say it's irrelevant. You don't care about that. You're not worried about that. You have no issue about that. You go on a platform that invites people who have done that, right? But you want to worry about quote unquote name calling. Which I believe, I'm continuing reading this dude, which I believe is how educated people should conduct themselves. I don't think you know what education is because you are butt kissing a pseudo. I asked you for a book review because I know you teach Meduneta and I wanted to hear your opinion on the issues raised. If I agreed with Assad 100%, I wouldn't be making that request. Well, he's just typing for nothing. And then finally, he wrote, regarding Reggie and Kuvi Gomez, I prefer not to respond as they are irrelevant to my original question. Yeah, rape and child molestation is irrelevant to your question too. People disrespecting Dr. Diop is also irrelevant. You are a butt kisser, Sekou. You are a professional butt kisser. That's all you are. And you have the right to be. By all means, go and kiss butts, bootlick your way to the top, Sekou. You have the right to. But somebody got to tell you. You betray your own cause. And then he wrote, please, brother, stop being so emotional and address your fellow men without overreacting. But when you said they should be treated as enemies, you were not overreacting, homie? My goodness. See, if you criticize the guys that he's butt kissing, whether it's Reggie or Sanetta or Simon Hotep, oh my goodness, he will not like it. He will say you are overreacting. If you criticize the rapists and child molesters on that panel where he participates, or he will call that overreacting. Then he wrote this. I am Sekou Kelleh from Liberia. My ethnic group is Mandinka, and I am a descendant of the great Mandinka people. Am I supposed to feel inferior to who? You feel inferior to Reggie. Once again, did he apologize or did he state that he was wrong? He was supposed to be considered an enemy and treated as such. Are you treating him as an enemy while you are butt kissing him when he's going live? You don't even follow your own words, homie. I'm not telling you you should act this way, you should behave this way. Your own words. I played you. What are you going to say? Then he wrote, do your live, and guess what I am going to do? I wouldn't respond because I am not a kid. And then finally, he wrote, I was never invited for a debate on symposium, so I wonder why the term run is used here. Did we have an agreement to meet, bro? All the time you came on my panel, you didn't have an agreement to meet. Just stop being high and mighty right now. You want to do a live to call me names and I said I wouldn't respond. In other words, I will never do a show to attack your person because I am not a child. But if you want to confront me man to man, then invite me for a discussion live. That's how it works. All the time you come on my platform, I never invited you. You came through. And you know what? I'm going to share the link anyway. And you know, I was going to share it later on. I'm going to share it now. Just for Sekou. Just for Sekou. And then we're going to deal with, you know, the pseudo world that you have no problem with. Because I don't think you know what education is. I really don't think you know what education is. And here he wrote yourself, oh, for the record, the link is in the chat, okay? That's just for Sekou, okay? If he wants to, I'm not waiting or expecting him to holler. But it's so funny to me. All those times he came on the platform, I did not invite him. Your self-righteousness logic is faulty. If we can't be on a platform that's anti-African, then we shouldn't be in Europe or America because they are anti-Africans and racist. You agree? Now you're being such a butt kisser, Sekou. So people in Europe and America say that they hate Africans. See, because you are butt kissing those anti-African people, because you have no standard, because you betrayed your own cause. Now you want to extrapolate now. Oh, we shouldn't live in America or Europe because they are anti-Africans and racist. So what are you going to say soon? That they are also inviting rapists and child molesters? Do you know any other YouTube channel that regularly invites rapists and child molesters? Do you know any other YouTube channel where when the owner defends publicly rapists and child molesters? Homie, please. Let's continue. Now, you've seen what he wrote. He wrote that I have faulty logic. You know what's funny? The guy that he's butt kissing used that same term towards Sheikh Anta Diop, and you have the link here. Diop was disingenuous and he used faulty logic. Let's have a look. You see that? That's the comment. That's the comment. Asaim Hotep wrote, what Diop did was use faulty logic. Get your own vocabulary, homie. Get your own terms. You butt kissing to the max. You're even using the... I mean, it's okay. Asaim Hotep cannot even translate from French to English, but we're supposed to take him serious when it comes to the Medu Neter. Now, he did not only say that Diop used faulty logic, right? He said that Diop was inconsistent. You have the link in the chat here. And you can see how he failed to translate from French to English. Now, let's listen to the homie. It's irrelevant if he's a pseudo-linguist. All right. You have the link in the chat. Is plagiarism accepted by Temple University? Listen to him.
At least introduce myself. My name is Asarim Hotep. I'm trained as a computer scientist, but I also do historical comparative linguistics. And the title of my presentation today is going to be the etymology of the word Kemet, a reanalysis of the Diop and Obinga hypothesis.
What's very important here, when there are groupies, when you have groupies like Sekou Kelleh and many other people, you know, the riparianites, you know, people who butt kiss, people who bootlick, Asarim Hotep will say that he is a linguist, but here it was the 30th annual Sheikh Anta Diop conference. Did he say he was a linguist? No, because he knows who he can say that to. Now he talks about the hypothesis of Dr. Diop and Dr. Obenga, right? Hypothesis. Now let's hear what he's going to say in that same video. Let's listen up.
I do comparisons with the Sumerian language, and I can tell you that Sumerian is related to Bantu, is related to ancient Egyptian.
Did you hear that? The text will be on the screen. Did you hear what he said? He said, at the Sheikh Anta Diop annual conference, Asarim Hotep said, and I quote, I do comparisons with the Sumerian language, and I can tell you that Sumerian is related to Bantu. Sumerian is related to Bantu. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing for real. But I guess it's irrelevant. It's related to ancient Egyptian. We have our brother Chris MVP Harris who wrote, huh? Hebrew is an African language? Lord, I thought you heard it before. That dude smokes a new type of dope. And we're gonna hear him say that Hebrew is an African language. Because that dude acts like he knows what education is.
Allah, and this is where I would disagree with Brother Shaka, is actually in the Egyptian text.
You heard him say that Allah is in the Egyptian text. That's what the Riparianites, and that's why people like Sekou Kelleh be butt kissing. Allah is in the Egyptian text. But then they're going to type and act like you are wrong, like you're having faulty logic. Butt kissing Sekou Kelleh. He doesn't have faulty logic by saying that Allah is in the Egyptian text. You are a clown, Sekou. But you're not the only one. You can ask Dr. Jahi Issa. Dr. Jahi Issa, PhD.
The God Allah is an indigenous African god.
The God Allah is an indigenous African god. Make that make sense.
In ancient Egypt, Allah is in its full form.
In ancient Egypt, Allah is in its full form.
Heru would be the same thing as Allah.
Heru will be the same thing as Allah. But that punk, coward, butt kisser, Sekou Kelleh, he promotes that dude.
These Hebrews, saying come from and who they are specifically, because based upon my research, these are African people.
Hebrews are African people.
This is how we know that the Hebrews, first of all, you got to understand that Hebrew is an African language.
Hebrew, an African language. Sekou, you are a punk, coward. You are ignorant. You are a clown. You don't know what education is, but you're not the only one. The Riparianites are just like you, but they be butt kissing less than you. They do it within their own parameters, basically their channel. Because they know they ain't going far with this.
In the Ogun book, I go into the linguistics to demonstrate, as we just talked about, how Ogun is Cain and how Abel is the pastoralist.
Ogun is Cain. Ogun is Cain.
In this thing, but how Abel relates to the word Fulani.
Abel relates to the word Fulani.
The Fulani people, your Afar people, your Avriga people, these are your original quote-unquote Hebrews.
Original quote-unquote Hebrews. Fulani people and the others he named, those are the original Hebrews. Sekou, did he pay you? Did he pay you?
Now, it is my argument in terms of the Judaic tradition that these These were disgruntled ancient Egyptian priests who had a different ideology, a different way of understanding something. They just didn't agree with the general consensus in Egypt and decided to create their own thing. That's why there's so many similarities between the two systems. And the more you understand about the language being used, you know that this comes from the same tradition. Then when you do a linguistic analysis, you understand that the Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language.
The Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language.
Fly in English is the same word, except we don't have the prefix sound in there in the word fly. And so the word, the phoneme R is now L in English, and the P sound is F, in English. It's just simply the word. It's a very old word. It's all the Indo-European is in every African language.
So the word fly, the English word fly, according to Osai-Imhotep, that comes from the Medu Neter, the hieroglyphic word cheper or keper, because the ch is difficult for Westerners. It's a sound that doesn't exist in Western languages. Many, let's say, if not most, Western languages.
What I'm telling you is that the Hebrews existed in North Africa, in Egypt. They existed in Somalia. They exist in Senegal. They exist in Mauritania. They exist. They even exist Minoa and Minoa Creek. If you read Dr. Yosef Ben Levy's article on the Hyksos, and he provides some very good information on who the Hyksos were. But as far as black is concerned, I wouldn't deem them black folks. But your Hebrew, original Hebrews, yes, because linguistics and the historical records say so. And you still have Hebrews. Fulanis are black as hell. The Afars are still black as hell. Your Abororos are still black as hell.
The Hebrews are black.
Between the law in linguistics and the law, for example, physics, is that with a law.
Are you a physicist? Do you study physics, for example?
I do study physics and I study science. And so,
have you studied linguistics formally?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Was asked if he studied linguistics formally. He answered, yes, I have. But it's irrelevant if he's a pseudo-linguist. That doesn't get a pass in my book. When Dr. Jai Issa and Salim Faraji and Professor Osei wrote the book, The Origin of the Word Amen, Dr. Obadele Kambon, PhD in linguistics, made an editorial critique of the book. It was not a personal attack. He was not being emotional. He was not overreacting. He dealt with the claims. Now, we've heard so many claims and people act like this is education. People act like this is academia. People act like this is scholarship. But he's going to talk about Dr. Diop and Dr. Obenga and talk about their hypotheses, but yet he's going to say that the Sumerian, I forgot the exact citation, the exact quote, but he said that it has something to do with the Bantu. I played it already. And all the other quotes that you heard, and that gets a pass. Because you have butt kissers like Sekou Kelleh and the Riparianites who don't know any better. We're not going to progress with people like that. We cannot talk about the rapists and the child molesters because they're going to say it's irrelevant, right? But even the so-called science, even the so-called scholarship, they allow foolishness to be shared to our people like it is something close to scholarship.
Not only that, but he hasn't done a reconstruction for Middle Egyptian.
I understand.
And I'm saying that is an incorrect and it's not a very good order of operations. So you're going to.
I don't see a reconstruction of Yoruba in your work or a Khan.
How would I reconstruct Yoruba and it's spoken right now? How does that make any sense to you?
Cambone is not in conversation with the authors of the text. It's not like he is trying to teach them how to improve. It's like he's at the overall tone of the text is like he's at a barbershop and he's just shooting the ish with some friends and on how he don't like so and so and how this text is bullshit, basically.
Here is the fake linguist who lied and said that he studied linguistics formally. Years ago, this is how he talks about a PhD in linguistics who made an editorial critic of a book. Now, I don't know if at some point we're going to have to use the word conspiracy, right? But you guys can try. It's a horrible look. Butt kissing the pseudos. Butt kissing the pseudos. And when they are disrespecting black PhDs, African PhDs, they get a pass for a strange reason. Then they're going to say that the word fly comes from the Medunecha Keper. That Allah is an indigenous African god. That Allah is in the Egyptian text. And all that gets a pass. Make that make sense.
Right? He's not having a conversation with Professor Kwame Osei or Salim Faraji or Jahi Issa. It's not in the tone of a dialogue. And because of that, that's why he doesn't, it just comes off as just complaining. Or like a woman venting about her day at the job.
Complaining or a woman venting about her day at the job. That's what the pseudo-linguist says about somebody who earned a PhD in linguistics. And that gets a pass because of butt kissers like Sekou Kelleh.
Alrighty, as mentioned before, I go by the name of Asar Imhotep. Some others may know me by Ifamu Yiwa Fagbimi in terms of my Yoruba name. I am a historian and anthropological linguist.
He is a historian and an anthropological linguist. He's not an architect or a medical doctor or, not a physicist,
An artist, poet, photographer, music producer, soon to be filmmaker, and a host of other things I like to dabble in seriously. As you said, I am Asar Imhotep. I am first and foremost, I'm a computer software programmer and linguist and historian of ancient Egyptian and Bantu studies. And I'm happy to be here on your show and to share some of my research with your audience.
Finally, the proof, the evidence. But Kisa Sekou Kelleh used that word, evidence, didn't he? Imhotep is a serial plagiarizer. He plagiarized several books in several different languages. Here's the proof. Here's the evidence. It's in the chat. So you can be a serial plagiarizer or serial plagiarist if you prefer. You can disrespect PhDs. You can make things up. And you're going to have butt kisses like the Riparianites or Sekou Kelleh that's going to have the nerve to criticize you because you don't go along with the pseudo foolishness. There's a quote from a movie. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. This will not get a pass in my book. Nothing personal. There's many other people who made pseudo claims in the past, and I have addressed those pseudo claims. Now, if some people think that because it comes from Panafricans or whatever else it may be, maybe Freemasonry, whatever else it is, if they think it's going to get a pass, it's not going to get a pass. If you want to call it science fiction, by all means, be my guest. But if you want to call it academia or scholarship or science and have the nerve to behave that way, no, never, ever. So I heard through the grapevine that somebody said, rise a volcano. I heard through the grapevine. I heard he changed his stance. Or let's say he stopped saying it. I don't need to say any name. Homies, you're going to have to do better. Sekou Kelleh, you turn your back on your own cause. If you want to butt kiss and boot lick the pseudos, the rapists, the child molesters, the scammers, the liars, feel free, but don't be mad because we don't do the same thing you do. It's sad. It's low. Stay safe, stay healthy. If I'm allowed to by the Necheru, I will definitely holler back at you. I don't argue, I state facts. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you do not think right, you will not act right. If you know better, you will do better. Do I to do a Necheru hotel.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Netia class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/Ma'at Forever.